to fight that, but we have to take the bold decision. Nigeria took the decision, and they are benefiting from that. I think that Ghana will have to look at it. Continued importing huge. Look, I have some few farmers who are commercial farmers. They have rice as stock. They cannot sell because the prices of rice is very low, because cost of production was very high. If you do an average, they spent about 200 and about 300 cedi on average to produce one bag of rice. Now rice is less than 300 cedi. How are they going to sell? So they are in huge debt. Next season, people are going to reduce rice production because we have a glut, rice glut. People cannot sell their rice. 1, 2, cost of inputs are increasingly going very high. 3, the issue of these pests, the birds that are raised, is so scary. People farm 100 acres, 50 acres, 60 acres, and they couldn't harvest anything because of the invasion of the birds.
Yeah.
So
I guess
we're in trouble.
I guess some of the birds are not even scared of the scarecrows now.
Look, people. I remember one farmer. I was interacting with one farmer, and my former MP, former foreign minister, Honorable Momoni. I was having a conversation with him. He's now a rice farmer, and he told how he struggled to fight the birds. He did all manner of things, including sending spiritual team to go and then work on the birds, because he thought it was spiritual attack. I tell you. And they were so resilient. So it is something that we have to look at it. When I look that question, I believe strongly that question that I found is on the desk of the minister. What is government coming to do to support the farmers? If they go out of production, we're in trouble. Yet the challenges they are facing, they don't have option. It's just like about last 2 years. Last 2 years, a lot of farmers ran from maize production and went to do soya. And we had serious challenges with maize in Ghana. Serious shortage. We had to import. So if a lot of farmers that I have interacted, especially the rice farmers, they tell me that they are not sure whether they will go back this year. It means that production will go further down. And then the ordinary farmer, the ordinary citizen will suffer. Let's really try to do policies that are realistic. The realistic policies is what will help this country. Let's stop this this politics. The planting for food and job one was too much for the way there was too much politics in it. Now this phase 2 is also going through the same process, and is likely to also be used, for politics. And if care is not taken, it will just fall or feel like the phase 1 has done. Even though I already can foresee the failing because of, like I told you, they didn't take their time to build the structures. Even I interact with some of the district directors, because I work closely with them when I was kind of teaching and doing consultancy. I used to work closely with some of them. They tell me, you are in because they believe strongly that as an agriculturalist in Parliament, I will have some inputs to make. So they call me, some of them will call me and tell me that these are the challenges we are facing. Unfortunately, the people don't have listening ears. It's a bless. So I can continue to talk about this matter over and over. I think I'll rest my case for now, and then I'll my colleagues.
Right, Council.
Now, see, when you talk about food insecurity, I think the starting point is to look at how some of the very big countries, great countries, a country like America, where just about 5% of their, or less than 5% of their citizens are into agri, and yet are able to feed themselves, have surplus, and practically feed majority of the world. Because all the big economies are also huge on agric. Now, when America gained their independence in 1776, one of their foremost patriots, Alexander Hamilton, came out with four reports that sought to shape the direction of their nation. One of the key reports was a report on manufacturing, so agric, industry and all. Now, in that report, Hamilton said something. He said, unless America found a way of protecting their local industries, then they stood a high chance of losing their independence to Great Britain. Unless they deliberately, as a government, found a way of helping, of protecting their local industry, then they stood a high chance of losing their independence back to Great Britain. Now, he gave this report at a time when Adam Smith had come out with his famous book, The Wealth of Nations, which spoke about something very different, about a view that government should not, as in government should lay its hands off how people do their business and allow us a laissez-faire as it does a free trade and all. Now, the position taken by Hamilton is the reason why America can afford to have just less than 5% of its citizens being in agric, and yet manage to produce enough to feed America and feed majority of the world, because they recognize that agriculture is business, and to ensure that agric as a business survives, then it is important for government to use its role in running the economy, which is its fiscal policy, its monetary policy, to boost agric, to boost manufacturing. See, that is fundamental. How have we treated agric in this country? Agric is still largely subsistence. Agric in this country is largely subsistence. Government talks about policies, what's got the recent one, plan and all those, and yet there has not been any comprehensive or radical program that has transformed agric. Because let me also go back to history. See, if when you go into when you say the history of mankind, there are a number of revolutions that has changed the face of the world. But some historians will tell you that when you take somebody who, let's say, was born in 1 AD and the person appeared, let's say, in 1500, the person can survive. Yet if you take somebody who was, let's say, who lived around the 15th century, let's say 14 something, the person comes to the world now, the person will be amazed at the extent of the transformation that has happened in the world. And that transformation has been occasioned, one, by a scientific revolution, two, by the industrial revolution. Understand? And so in the developed worlds, they are doing proper agric because the agric are premised on the principles of that scientific revolution and the industrial revolution. Now, what are those revolutions? The scientific revolution, premised on the belief that we were ignorant, found the need to pump resources, and it was a state, to pump resources into research, R&D, research and development.
It's been in the government short.
Yeah, I'm coming. That's what I'm saying. The states realize that to really hit the heights of transforming the world, then they recognize, the people around that recognize that, listen, they were very ignorant. So they found the need to pump resources into research and development, one. And two, having done that, and listen, Darwin's research is a result of the commitment of states into R&D. You understand? The whole concept of ecology. The whole concept of ecology came about because when they were sponsoring people to go and discover South America, they put Darwin on board. And they put Darwin on board because they found that it was necessary for Darwin to go. They had an inquisitive mind based on their belief that they were ignorant to understand different fauna and flora that existed in different parts of the world. Also, in 1751, and also let me just say before I just go to 1751, one of the benefits of that scientific revolution was the ability of man for the first time to know, to study and understand the ability to convert energy from one form into another. Because prior to 1500, human beings and animals had a natural ability to convert energy. Because when you do basic science, you know that food is chemical energy. And that chemical energy is converted when you work into kinetic energy, it can be converted into potential energy. So naturally we had, and your temperature into heat. So naturally, even though our bodies naturally had the ability to convert energy from one form into another, man's knowledge had not expanded to understand and appreciate the ability to convert energy. Now, because of that scientific revolution that happened, man, just by studying what happened when they heated water above 100 degrees Celsius, realized that because when you heat water over 100 degrees Celsius, you realize that the lid on the cover will always move. Man suddenly recognized that, listen, so heat after 100 can be used to cause movement, locomotive. And that was the advent of the Industrial Revolution. Now, the combination of these two events in the history of mankind transformed how everything is done. Is the reason why man has even managed to go on the moon. But this scientific revolution, the scientific revolution and the Industrial Revolution could not have happened but for the commitment of states to use their fiscal policy to push research and development, and also to push this Industrial Revolution. And so when Hamilton really was saying that if America in their infant state do not support local industry, essentially what he was saying is that there was the need for the American government to use its fiscal policy, one, to support agric, because that's the foundation of everything in terms of research and development, as the new trends in agric, how you can best produce and protect varieties and all. One, two, how do you use fiscal policies as in terms of your subsidies, your tariffs, to protect also what you produce? Because my brother here said something fantastic, that they produce the rice and yet they can't compete with the international market. Why? Because the products coming from outside have been subsidized. Their states themselves have used their fiscal policy to grant them subsidies and tariffs, so that the cost of doing business already, their interest rate regime is very, very low. When you go to America, what's the interest regime rate there? One, what's the access of credit? And that thing that also transformed the world was man's ability to create credit. Ability to create credit. Essentially, that man's ability to say that, listen, I can give you this, don't give me money, take at this interest rate, pay at. The ability to create a system that enabled credit also transformed the world in terms of how business was done. Now, I think for us to fight food security, government must have a comprehensive program. A comprehensive program, one that would commit itself in terms of proper money to research and development. They must have a comprehensive program that too would deal comprehensively with the macroeconomic environment, because the macroeconomic environment in itself is inimical to real agricultural transformation. Because farmers in this country can't have access to facilities in our banks. You understand? But government have the power of fiscal policy. Fiscal policy includes the ability to tax. It includes the ability to spend money. Now, what prevents the government in its tax policy giving incentives to banks? Giving incentives to banks, maybe some tax holiday. You understand? To give credit to agric. What prevents government, the body that has that's the repository of monetary policy, to have a regime where funds are given to people in agric? The interest rate can't be the regular interest rate. Now, because they can do that.
They can't pay.
They can even now. I'm trying to say at this the current interest, no business will survive. Now we have a problem where we really need to transform agric. What prevents government from running a regime? Because you control the monetary policy. At least Alan Chamati showed us that in 1D, 1F, even if you don't want to change the interest rate, you can even give an interest subsidy. Yes, you can give an interest subsidy. Instead of using the money they raise from taxation to spend on reckless activities, what prevents them from using these monies to really transform agriculture? I'm telling you that they can subsidize interest rates, or they can give an interest rate regime which is competitive globally. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I think that we will have this food security issue because of the lack of commitment on the part of government. Last night I listened to Samia Oku last week in an interview at I think P7. I was highly disappointed when the statement was made that, listen, we can't be like America. Telling the party people we can't be like America. It is a matter of time. Today I'm CEO. Don't worry, maybe at your time it will be CEO. Why can't we be like America? Because when you're analyzing America, how America are, what we are seeing right now is the effect. So maybe for the effect, it may take us some time. But for the causes, it can be done now. Because America is America because of policies like what Alexander Hamilton did. That report that said that, listen, unless America, in spite of the popularity of what Adam Smith said. Because you see, sometimes we talk about free trade, but America didn't start off as a free trade country. No country that is successful has been successful on the premise of free trade. What they all do, and that's why even Britain, Netherlands, what they've all done is that at their inception, government always uses its fiscal policy, its monetary policy, and then I'm talking about how you spend your money, how you levy your taxes. Because in levying taxes, the focus isn't just about how you raise money. In levying taxes, you can also incentivize businesses. You can incentivize the banks themselves. You understand? After you give the banks license, what prevents you, the government, from saying, listen, before I renew your license, prove to me that you've given, let's say, 20% of your loan portfolio to agric at this interest rate.
We even have a agriculture bank.
They don't use it for this.
Core mandate.
You understand? So, I think that we are where we are because of clear lack of. I don't believe that it is because of lack of knowledge. I think it is because of lack of commitment, and also because of our thinking. Because when you have politicians who don't see that, who believe that we can't be like America, because he's just focusing on the effect. But who's not looking at the causes? The causes mean the policies that America puts in place to make their country great. Because America, when they had their independence, were in a similar situation like us. And that similar situation being a purely agrarian community, and the agric was largely subsistence. You take Singapore. Singapore has been transformed also because they introduced the principles of meritocracy, where people who have the skill, who have the commitment, who have the character to lead are placed in leadership positions, not party apparatchiks. And so, where the president, who has the power to appoint, puts anybody at all in leadership position, whether the person has the capacity to deliver proper leadership, they don't care. So, right now, we are on the brink as a country. I'm telling you, we are on the brink. And we are on the brink where, unless we get proper leadership that has the commitment, you understand, to use the power it has. And I'm saying in the economy, the power the government really has is the power of fiscal policy and the power of monetary policy. To use these powers, these policies, to aid local businesses, especially in agric, in manufacturing. You understand? Give aid. When I say aid, you are giving aid sometimes. So, example, under President Kofo's in President time, the palm, when they doing the what's called the Presidential Special Initiative, also championed by Alan Chairman. So a lot of it was government itself putting its money to start palm business, and then they partner some private person. Now listen, government is going to take 70% for 30 years. It's going to use its money to build plantations, because to build a plantation has the potential of solving your unemployment issues, has the potential of creating real prosperity for people over 30 years, and then after the 30 years, government will hand over to you, the private man. This is a model that has been used by so many countries, Singapore and all. You understand? Two, you use a power of fiscal policy in terms of the direction of the taxation. Because taxation isn't just a means of raising money, but taxation can also be a means of giving incentive to industries that need support, can be a means of giving incentives to bank, to direct resources to more productive sectors of our economy. You understand? And then you can also use your power of monetary policy to give proper leadership that would deal effectively with your interest rate regime, that would deal effectively with your inflationary regime, that would then deal with your exchange rate regime. When you've done that, then what you've done, that beyond creating the right environment for agri, for industry, for businesses to thrive, you would have also, one, aided your local business people in agri, and also you use the power of subsidy and tariff to protect them. When we've done that, and all these ideas are in the Great Transformational Plan, when we've done that, there would in terms of food, in terms of jobs, and we would create real prosperity for the people of Ghana. That's the kind of leadership we need.
Thank you very much.
And that's the leadership I John Kolisha Martin.
Our time is up. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Honorable Professor Hamza Adam, MP for Kumbungo, and also to you, Councillor Pierre Dankwa. To our cherished viewers, I'm unable to read the rest of the messages because of time. So it's already past 10 a.m. But I want to thank you so much for joining in today's discussion. I appreciate your comments, I appreciate your thoughts and your opinions. I very much appreciate you sitting behind your television to watch Pan-African television. Those of you who spent your data, which is very expensive nowadays, by the way, to be on Facebook to watch us, we are extremely grateful to you for that. I'll catch you tomorrow on the Thursday edition of Good Morning Africa. Do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.